Happy Monday, everyone, and we are just a few days away from General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I want to help you prepare for and have the most impactful conference weekend that you can. To do so, we'll talk about a couple of things. I'll give you a couple of things perhaps that you can do before conference, during conference, and post-conference to make it an impactful weekend. But my name is Zach. This is The Covenant Path. Thank you for tuning in. I want to show you first, we're here on the church's website. You go to Libraries, General Conference to find General Conference messages. Go here and scroll all the way to the bottom, past the speakers, past the topics, additional resources right here. There is a list of ideas to prepare and ideas for study post-conference that are found right here from the church's website and the Gospel Library app. I would recommend checking those out after you check out this video, of course. But I just wanted to throw that out. I did get some of my ideas for preparation from these sources. The first thing, though, I would recommend, if you want to prepare for conference, is looking at past conference messages. That's a fabulous way to invite the Spirit to prepare for General Conference weekend. And it's following the prophet. President Nelson has asked us most recently in this last conference to review conference messages. Right here, though, I felt prompted to put just a few talks that I think might be good if you wanted to study these ones before conference this weekend or study other ones that you've got. This is The Message, the Meaning, and the Multitude. It's a talk given by President Holland. He was Elder Holland at the time in October 2019 General Conference. The main reason I put this one, I love this talk. I thought it was really impactful to me when I first heard it. He talks about how there's a lot of excitement with conference. There's excitement of the announcements, of the food, of being with friends and family, of the whole weekend. It's kind of a whole thing in church culture. But you've got to look above and beyond the hustle and bustle that comes with the weekend at what really the center point is, and that's the Savior. That's Jesus Christ. The whole weekend is focused on Jesus Christ. And if you're not seeing Jesus Christ in conference, you're looking at it wrong. So great talks about that. These other two talks are about personal revelation. One comes from Elder Hales in October 2007, Personal Revelation, the Teachings and Examples of the Prophets. The other is from Elder Holland in October of 2022, a framework for personal revelation. I like both of those, felt prompted to share them just because conference has a lot to do with personal revelation. We believe in personal revelation in this church, that you can receive an answer for yourself from God. That God isn't dead. He still speaks to us today, and he knows you individually and will give you that revelation. So I thought those three talks, great place to start. If you don't know where to start, but you want to maybe look at a few talks before conference will start this weekend. My next idea that might help you to prepare has to do with preparing questions. So as previously mentioned, we believe in personal revelation. You can take any question to the Lord. But I think conference is a great time to really hone down on what questions do you have? What questions can you take to God and see if he will answer for you? I cannot promise that he'll answer every question on your list. But what I can promise is if you faithfully and prayerfully take questions to the Lord in his timing, in his way, those will be answered. And he does hear each one of those prayers. So my invitation is to take a list of questions to conference with you. That's something that Elder Uchtdorf, in September 2011, he wrote this. This was in I believe the Liahona. This was actually off of the additional ideas for study and preparation. But he says, as you prepare for General Conference, I invite you to ponder questions you need to have answered. For example, you might yearn for direction and guidance by the Lord regarding challenges you are facing. Answers to your specific prayers may come directly from a particular talk or from a specific phrase. At other times, answers may come in a seemingly unrelated word, phrase, or song. A heart filled with gratitude for the blessings of life and an earnest desire to hear and follow the words of counsel will prepare the way for personal revelation. Reading that, I can just totally read it in President Uchtdorf's, well, he was at the time President Uchtdorf, his voice, 100%. He's got such a distinct voice. But absolutely, take your questions, whatever they are. Maybe they're questions about, should I go on a mission? How can I best help my children? What can I do to help those within my calling, the way that I'm serving? Whatever those questions are, the Lord will hear them. And just like Elder Uchtdorf said, those answers may come literally direct word for word from a talk. But they might also, if you're listening to the Spirit, come at you as impressions and thoughts that are entirely unrelated. That's so amazing that's how the Spirit works. Here's my next idea to help you prepare for conference. Okay. Before conference even happens, conference opens up Saturday morning, Friday afternoon, night, day, get everything done that you need to in the house. Okay. Do the chores, get the shopping done, prepare yourself quite literally for conference. So during conference, you're not worrying about it. You're not worrying that you need to dust and vacuum the house. You're not worrying that you need to go run over to the store and get some groceries for Sunday. It's already all taken care of because you've prepared for it on Friday. It's kind of like, oh, this is a little cheesy. You know that song, like Saturday is a special day. It's the day you get ready for Sunday. This is General Conference. So Friday is the special day. It's the day you get ready for General Conference. I'm not singing it for you because I'm not a singer, but you get my point. So prepare yourself quite literally in that way, your house and the things you need to do it beforehand. Now, maybe a silly one. My last idea, though, if you want to have an impactful conference weekend, is to get good sleep. Go to bed Friday night well rested. That way you're not sleeping during conference. That may or may not happen to some individuals, but just prepare yourself the night before. Then you won't even have to worry about it by going to bed early, setting an early time to have everything done for the day. That way you're not panicking Friday night at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Anyway, it'll bless you. It'll help you have a better conference. Now let's transition a little bit. Things that you can do during a conference to have an impactful weekend. So you're going to enter conference with your list of questions, but I would ask the Lord, go with faith to have those questions answered, but pray before conference even starts that the Lord will hear the prayers and desires of your heart and that you might find answers during conference weekend to those questions that your heart is longing to know. Okay. If you go with faith, the Lord blesses those who put in a little bit of effort. The Lord loves effort. You've heard that in conference before. Put in a little effort, pray beforehand, before conference even starts. The revelation will flow. It will come. In addition to answering the questions that you have, you might receive impressions and thoughts from the Spirit that are entirely unrelated. But I would be open to the messages that the Lord has for you. Write them down. Take note, because they will come. They may be there this weekend. Another recommendation. Now I know every individual and family is different, but if you want to have an impactful conference weekend, I would probably recommend not laying down during conference, not having the pillows out, and not being in your PJs. Just because I feel like if you're actually preparing yourself for conference, you've showered, gotten ready, you're dressed. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to be in your church clothes, but you're dressed for the day. You're not going to fall asleep. And you're showing the Lord, you're giving a little bit of effort saying, hey, I'm here, I'm prepared, I'm ready. My recommendation, obviously, I know some families have traditions and their own things they do. My next recommendation, which you may or may not agree with me on, has to do with taking notes during conference. Now, on my mission, I heard this from Elder Bednar. He talked about note-taking, that rather than us trying to take shorthand script of every single talk, to just write down the impressions that we're hearing. And I want to play you actually what Elder Bednar said. That way you can hear his words for yourself.
I don't want to try to tell you how to do this, but I would recommend you don't try to write down things that any of us say. I would suggest to you that that totally misses the mark. What you should write down are the things that only you hear that are being delivered to you very specifically by the power of the Holy Ghost. Sometimes in gatherings like this, we want to furiously take notes about what a speaker is saying. The time when this makes me laugh is in general conference. I sit on the stand and I watch people writing as fast as they can go. And I want to, at some point, just get up and go, "Hey, it's going to be online in 40 seconds. And the reason I would like to get up and do that sometime in general conference is because if you're so focused and so engaged in writing down what someone is speaking, you likely will miss what the Holy Ghost is trying to deliver to you individually and personally. So of course you should jot things down, but I hope it's not what I say or what anybody else has said tonight.
So there you have it. Do what you will with it. It will be, as Elder Bednar said, everything's online literally within minutes of a conference session ending. Like, you don't have to wait long to go back to it. So during conference, I would just enjoy it. Enjoy it, listen to the Spirit, and just jot down the thoughts and impressions that touch your heart. That would be my recommendation. Now, maybe some of you are wondering, okay, maybe you've got grandkids, maybe you've got young children at home, how to have an impactful weekend with the maybe chaos that might ensue sometimes from having small children in the house, okay? The church has provided some great resources. This is, you can go to conferencegames.lds.org to find any one of these. And I'll also put the link for all 4 of these in the video description if you want to download these yourself, the PDFs. But there's conference coloring pages that the church has come out with. So this is, it's like a coloring by number, it looks like. There is a, let me scroll up here, General Conference Notebook. This one's a little outdated, but I wonder if you go to the conference, what was the website again? conferencegames.lds.org. If you go there, they might have an updated one. But this one, it looks like, might be for a little bit older children, younger teenagers, I'm assuming, where they can write down what it is. Or, I mean, you could use it yourself. Why not? Use it yourself. Here's another one, probably for younger children. General Conference Notebook. You can put your name, date. It's got some coloring pages, some simple questions, places they can write some stuff down. And then Conference Bingo. Who doesn't love Conference Bingo? If you're trying to entertain small ones, this is probably helpful because then they get to listen for specific words. It's great. So this is something that you can use during conference to hopefully keep them somewhat entertained, but also somewhat engaged with what is actually happening on the screen. Now, this is kind of fun and actually kind of incredible. I did not know that conference could be watched in so many different ways. It's amazing. It's incredible. Ways to watch, listen to April 2025 General Conference. You have off of churchofjesuschrist.org, your broadcasts in 70 languages. Okay. If you know someone that needs something beyond English, go there. General Conference YouTube channel. That will be live on YouTube in more than 12 languages. But then it's on Gospel Stream. It's on the Gospel Library app. If you're local to the Mountain West, KSL TV, KSL News Radio, and KSL.com will all have it streamed live in English. BYU TV, if you get broadcasts here in the United States, Amazon Alexa, Bonneville International, and TuneIn. Okay. That's awesome. There are so many different ways to watch General Conference. And before conference, if you know someone, well, let me back up. Maybe you're being impressed right now to reach out to someone. Maybe it's a neighbor, it's a friend, somebody that hasn't watched conference, or maybe somebody that has watched conference but hasn't for a while and could use the messages from General Conference. I will put the link here to the different ways that you can watch and listen to it in the video description. Send them this link. Let them know how easy it is. You can watch, there's no excuse. You can watch it anywhere in the world at this point. There is a service and platform that you can get on to see conference. So that might be something you want to do before conference to help prepare for conference, is reach out to someone else. Let them know that conference is happening. Now, here's a study tip that might be useful for during or after conference, depending on how you want to take notes, if you are a note taker. This is a principle from Elder Bednar that I learned several years ago on my mission. He taught that the way he studies conference talks is he writes 3 columns, okay? Takes out a piece of paper, 3 columns. The first column is doctrines or principles taught. The second are invitations to act that are given by the speaker. The third is promised blessings that you'll receive. If you go through any conference address, they hit almost always all 3. And it has changed the way that I do my studies of conference. I do that with my personal study post-conference. When I'm looking through the talks, I take 3 different colors because you can just highlight. You highlight with your finger, you click on it on your phone and drag. You can do doctrine, principles to act on, promised blessings. It is incredible. Maybe something you want to try during conference or something post-conference with your conference studies. But it's a really unique way that he has. I don't know if he was the one that created it, but it's changed the way that I've done my studies. Another thing you can do post-conference is, and I would highly recommend this, is share the things that stood out to you, the things you learned with someone else. Now, that can look like a couple of different things. Maybe you're on social media. You can obviously share whatever it is you learned online. Share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, whatever the case might be. But just have conversations. Have conversations with whoever it is, whether it's your wife or your husband, maybe it's your kids. Have those conversations no matter how old they are. Maybe they're young kids, maybe they're old kids. Just talk about the things that you learned. Maybe take a couple of minutes after each session or after all of conference is over and talk about what stood out to you. You're strengthening each other's testimonies as you do so, as you share what impressed you. But also, I think it's a good way to remember, really to lock in that information. That way you can move forward with it. Now, this is coming from the Liahona, but here's another idea of something that you can do. After conference, to help stay with you, these ideas. This comes from the March 2018 Liahona. It says, choose an inspiring quote, lesson, principle, or talk. Write that principle down where it can be seen daily. Make a goal for how you want to apply that principle into your own life and incorporate it. Be accountable to someone. So share it with somebody else and make sure you're accountable with each other. And then as the next conference approaches, share with one's family lessons learned and blessings received from applying that principle. I think that's a really good way to help conference stay with you. Especially, it's 6 months until next October. So pick that talk or that principle that really stood out to you from this conference and write it down somewhere where you can see it. Talk about it regularly. See if you're meeting those goals. I think that's a cool way to apply the principles found in conference to your personal life and see the impact that it's had. So that's kind of wraps up some of my ideas of things you can do before, during, and after conference to help have a impactful weekend. But follow me if you're not already on Instagram and Facebook. This weekend, I will be posting just quotes and such on there from different speakers and different talks. But if you like them, you can share those. Share those with your friends. But follow me there. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. If you're not already, feel free to subscribe here, as I'll be releasing additional conference content as well as temple content in the future. But it's free here on YouTube. But thank you once again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.